Thank you, guys.
And thank all of you out there. What a week it's been. Keep it right here. You got Matt Connerton Unleashed coming up at 4 p.m., followed by Granite State of Mind and Retro Spectrum Radio. That's all tonight right here on WMNH. Have a great weekend, folks.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
You are listening to WMNH-LP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
You can't catch me on the radar, I'm running against hell. You can't catch me on the radar, I'm running against hell. I've passed up on riches, I've got my hell. I pulled in these finish lines, 4 tires all flat, proving I'm wrong, what they thinking about that. I rise like a phoenix and land on my feet. I'm pulling in finish lines, 4 tires all flat. Proving I'm wrong, what they thinking about that. I'm feeling rhythm in everything, like my cat on my chest, he's purring in a dream. The wind's howling outside like Banshee's scream, and I've been known to make a 6-string sing. I love the smells that a campfire brings, the smoky infusion into my blue jeans, and I love the songs that a stovepipe sings, the creaks and the bangs when the screen doors swing. Can't catch me on the radar, I'm running still. Passed up on riches, I've got my help. Pulling in finish lines, 4 tires all flat. Proving I'm wrong, what they thinking about that. I rise like a phoenix and land on my feet, with feline ability and fire in my wings. It's string pain projection that makes my fingers bleed. My subconscious mind is drafting when I sleep. Catch me on the radar, I'm running instead. Passed up on riches, I've got my help. Pulling in finish lines, 4 tires on flat. Proving I'm wrong, what they thinking about that.
This was not just extreme carelessness with classified material, which is still totally disqualifying. This is calculated, deliberate, premeditated misconduct, followed by a cover-up that included false statements and lies to Congress, the media, and the American people.
In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information.
We also need the best protection of classified information. That is the worst situation. Hillary's private email scandal, which put our classified information in the reach of our enemies, disqualifies her from the presidency.
Service members here in North Carolina have risked their lives to acquire classified intelligence to protect our country. Hillary thought nothing of putting classified information on her illegal server, which our enemies now have hacked.
Forget about what was on the emails. It's irrelevant. Although many of them were classified, highly classified, and you go to jail for that.
Good afternoon. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice. This indictment was voted by a grand jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida, and I invite everyone to read it in full to understand the scope and the gravity of the crimes charged. The men and women of the United States intelligence community and our armed forces dedicate their lives to protecting our nation and its people. Our laws that protect national defense information are critical for the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Violations of those laws put our country at risk. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less. The prosecutors in my office are among the most talented and experienced in the Department of Justice. They have investigated this case hewing to the highest ethical standards, and they will continue to do so as this case proceeds. It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To that end, my office will seek a speedy trial in this matter, consistent with the public interest and the rights of the accused. We very much look forward to presenting our case to a jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida. In conclusion, I would like to thank the dedicated public servants of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, with whom my office is conducting this investigation, and who work tirelessly every day upholding the rule of law in our country. I'm deeply proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Thank you very much.
Why Florida, sir? Why did you decide to bring the case? So, what do you guys want to talk about?
Hello, welcome everybody. Here we go. Happy Friday. It is my favorite day of the week, by the way. Although not necessarily for the same reasons that it might be your favorite day of the week. I know a lot of people cite Friday as their favorite day of the week. It's my favorite day of the week because it's my long day here at WMNH, because I get to do this show, and then I get to do Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C tonight. So Fridays are a lot of fun here. So it is my favorite day. So happy Friday to you. It is Friday, June 6, 2023, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, although it's about to potentially turn into a very wet downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. We just had actually, those of you listening live on FM radio might not have even heard part of the beginning of the show because there was an emergency alert because there's some bad weather coming in. By the way, so there's been a trend recently, I was talking about it the other day, where the skies will get very dark. There will be some very dark, threatening-looking storm clouds outside, and it looks like it's going to rain, and then it just stays that way for hours. It looks like it's teetering on the edge of a downpour, and then it never quite comes. But since there's an emergency alert for the weather, I think this one might actually happen, so I'm glad I'm safe and sound in here. There were some pretty dark clouds out there when I arrived at the station today, so we'll see. So I hope you're safe and sound where you are. I really enjoy a good summer thunderstorm. I dig it as long as I'm inside for it. You know what I don't like? The one thing I really don't like, well, for one thing, I don't like getting caught in the rain. I'm like a cat. I don't like to be wet, and I don't like the way wet clothes feel. Ugh. But I also, I don't like driving in it. You know, you ever have that where you're driving along and you're just driving and all of a sudden the sky just opens up and it starts pouring and you can't see where you're going at all? That's not fun either. But as long as I'm inside for it, I enjoy it. So we'll see what happens. But if we get suddenly knocked off the air for some reason, that'll be the reason. Although actually, I don't think that's ever really happened where we've had a storm knock us off. So it is a stormy looking, potentially, downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. But we are in downtown Manchester here at WMNH 95.3, also on Comcast 97 if you are in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. A couple of programming notes. Well, let me tell you what we've got coming up today and also what we don't have coming up. Actually, I'll get the don't part out of the way. We do not have today our normal Friday segment with our friend Eric Pilcher from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, his film review. He did not submit one this week, and I suspect he's doing something, because he wants a shirt. He keeps putting out that hashtag, get Eric a shirt, t-shirt. I think he's doing what I think in Hollywood they call a sick out, where you want more money. You're trying to get more money out of the network for your hit television series. So you don't show up for work and you claim that you're sick, but you're actually just holding out for more money. I think he might be doing that, which is weird because I actually don't pay him at all. So I don't know. No, actually, I'm kidding. I jest with you. No, he just had a very busy week. He had a lot going on this week. Very, very hectic. So he asked if he could skip this week. And I said, absolutely. Because after all, I don't pay you. So there you go. No. He does have a lot going on, and he did promise the film review will return next Friday. But in lieu of that, we do have something else exciting. Our friend Shane Ballin will be joining us. He's going to be calling in at the top of the hour. And I also see him in the Facebook live chat. He said, thank you so very much for playing my new song, String Pain Projection, calling in at 5 p.m. Yeah, the song that I opened up with today, that is the title track, I believe, from Shane's new album. Shane's been with us before on the show. You might recall a number of months ago, he was here in studio with us. He brought his guitar. He played live. Absolutely fantastic. Got a ton of positive feedback on that. Everyone really loved it. Shane's amazing. I love his voice. Dude's got a great voice. And quite a songwriter as well. And he's got a new producer that he's working with. We'll talk about all of it. So I did open with that song, String Pain Projection. And as we are approaching the top of the hour, when we get ready to go to break, our top of the hour break, I will play another song, another one of these great tracks that Shane sent. And then when we come back, we'll have him on the phone and we'll chat for a bit. And then, of course, we'll play another song at the end of the segment. But really looking forward to talking to Shane and getting caught up with him and hearing all about the new album and his new partnership with his producer, his producer has been on the show before as well. But I won't say any more because we're going to talk about it all in the 5 o'clock hour. So that'll be cool. I also played a couple of other things related to today's news. I don't know if you've all been paying attention to the news, but we'll get into that. Kind of a big day, kind of a big deal. So there's a lot to do. And of course it is Friday, which means, if you're listening live on WMNH, immediately following this show is Granite State of Mind, hosted by the great Rob Azevedo and Pauly Stone. And then I am back tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. for Retro Spectrum Radio with Pauly C, along with DJ Steve and Mike from Queen City Cabinetry. And the four of us, we have a great time. Friday nights, this week, it is another game where Paul is going to play 25 songs that have something in common, and we all have to try to guess what they are. So that's a lot of fun. I enjoy that a lot. In the meantime, if you would like to join us, you can. 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. The studio line is open. You can text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. You can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat, and we'll say hello to everybody in there in a moment. But the best thing to do, of course, so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones, is to give us a call at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. We will say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. Oh, one other thing, too, about programming notes. If you missed yesterday's show, please go back and check it out. We had we had Fredo, and actually I like saying his full name. It's just fun. Alfredo Enrique Benavides, but he's better known as Fredo. Everyone knows him as Fredo. And of course, Axel Bagley from the band Dank Sinatra, and Nate from Dank Sinatra also called in. And we had a great time yesterday. They got here a bit early, which actually worked out well. And we played a bunch of their new music from their album that's coming out, I think, the middle of July. But we got a sneak peek, so it was a world radio premiere, and it was a lot of fun. I love those guys. And so if you missed yesterday's show, please go back and check it out. And they're such a great band. And great people as well. So let's see, but we'll say hello to everybody in the chat. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry is in the chat. By the way, I will remind you, not only is Mike one of our co-hosts on Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C, he's also a sponsor of WMNH 95.3 FM, of course, Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall. You can bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry. So Mike's a great guy, and of course, an important part of WMNH, both in his co-hosting duties on Paul's show, and they've been a sponsor of the station for a few years now. Actually, quite a few years now that I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Isaac Banks from Greensboro, North Carolina joins us. Surprise, surprise. Isaac Banks says, good afternoon, hashtag Matt. Hi, hashtag Jenny Coffee. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mike Pelopita. How are you doing, sir? I noticed that Mike from Queen City Cabinetry did not get a hashtag, unlike Jenny and I. That's interesting. And Mike, kind enough to take the time to answer Isaac Banks and say, I'm doing well, my friends. Isaac Banks says, ex-President Trump cannot win because President Biden is the best man of the job. I actually wish I don't want either one of them to be president in the next term, to be honest with you, for different reasons. But Isaac Banks also says, Trump by Trump, hashtag Matt Connerton. Yes. Isaac Banks bringing the sophisticated political analysis that we all appreciate. Jenny, of course, is in the chat and says, shalom, peeps. Let's see. J-Fed from the great state of Vermont joins us and says, good afternoon, everyone. Isaac Banks says, yesterday, hashtag Matt Connerton, it was a good Inner Rhythm Choir concert at Lindley Park Baptist Church in Greensboro, North Carolina. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Shane Ballin, I did mention, is in the chat room, and we're going to be talking with him in the 5 o'clock hour. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry says, okay, this is related to the emergency alert that went out a few minutes ago. He put this in the chat. The flood advisory is replaced by a flash flood warning for a portion of southern New Hampshire, including the following areas: Hillsborough and Rockingham County. Of course, we're in Hillsborough County here in Manchester. The threat of flooding continues, and a flash flood warning is now in effect. Please refer to that bulletin for more information. I remember a few years ago there was a flash flood. There were parts of Manchester that flooded, and it was like, wow, that doesn't usually happen. We're pretty fortunate here in New Hampshire broadly. We don't have a lot of there's rarely flooding here. We don't have landslides or earthquakes or lizards that run loose in the city. I don't know. Anyway, there's not much that happens here that's hazardous. We're fortunate that way. And we're, year after year, we're ranked one of the safest states in the country. Isaac Banks says also that I hope he reboots his show is Charles Richardson Show, hashtag Matt Connerton. Yeah, I think Charles is thinking about bringing his show back. Charmaine Davis Elliott joins us in the Facebook live chat and says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Charmaine. Let's see. And Eric, I'm still not sure I'm saying his name correctly, but Eric Nanarone says, good afternoon, everyone. Eric did share with us recently. And Eric, always feel free to drop the link in the chat. I don't mind at all. Eric has a podcast called the Nanosecond Podcast. Nano is a play on his last name, which I will confess, and I apologize, I haven't had a chance to check it out yet this week, but I will. I definitely will. All right. Let me give the number again, and then we'll get into kind of a big deal, the news today. 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. There was breaking news, actually, and figures it happened when I was already off the air, although we did have a musical guest, so maybe that worked out for the best. But after I left the air yesterday, news broke that the Trump indictment was that Trump was in fact being indicted in Florida over the documents, the secret documents, and that news carried over in today. I did play at the top of the show. I if you missed it, and again, some people listening in their cars might not have even heard it because of the emergency alert, but I played some comments that Trump had made back in 2016 regarding Hillary Clinton and the handling of classified material. But I did play it was a brief, terse statement that Special Prosecutor, Special Counsel Jack Smith did present today, announcing the indictment. It was already out, but and actually it had already been unsealed. So it's been unsealed today. Jack Smith made the announcement today, and we'll see where it goes from here. And of course, I guess I'm not surprised by any of it. But the thing is, we'll get into some details in a moment, but and I'm approaching this the same way, even though not everyone understood how I was approaching it, for lack of a better way of putting it, when I was talking about the indictment in New York that Trump had to attend, where he was effectively arrested for all intents and purposes. But I don't know what people expect necessarily, but if you're a long-time listener or even a short-term listener, you're probably aware. I'm not myself a big fan of the 45th president. Never was. I don't imagine I ever will be. But I'm not happy or excited about this either. I mean, this is a terrible thing for the country to go through. What I do not agree with, though, as terrible as this is for the country to go through, and it's very interesting. I was raised with the notion, when I was in school growing up, when I first started to learn about history, that the sort of conventional wisdom broadly was that President Gerald Ford had done the right thing in pardoning Richard Nixon to spare the country, not to spare Nixon, but to spare the country of having to go through what they were about to have to go through. I wasn't here yet. I wasn't around, but what the country was about to go through if Nixon were prosecuted. And so Ford pardoned him, and that was that. And obviously people have debated that, people have analyzed it, but the conventional wisdom broadly, hello to Melanie La Liberty, who joins us in the chat. Hi, Melanie. But the conventional wisdom has always been broadly that it was probably the right thing to do. Again, not out of any kind of deference or wanting to spare Nixon, but because why put the country through that? Let's just move on. In recent years, and especially now, there are more people. Again, there have always been people who kind of disagreed with that, but I think broadly it was accepted. Yeah, it was probably the right thing to do. But now there's more people who are kind of reflecting back on that and saying, no, he probably should not have pardoned Nixon. I am not someone who is going to sit here and tell you, as some people would, that I think that there's some sort of let me put it this way. Some people have said that Trump thought he could do whatever he wanted and he'd get away with it because Nixon got away with what he did and so forth. I don't think that's the case. And I am agnostic at this point on the idea that as to whether or not Ford did the correct thing in pardoning Nixon. But I do believe that no one is above the law. And, but I recognize that this is not a good thing for the country to go through, but I do think it is a necessary thing for the country to go through because, obviously, look, you've got that 30 to 35% of the Republican base that is ride or die for Trump, no matter what. and they will support him no matter what, and any bad thing that happens to him, you know, whether he stubs his toe when he gets up in the morning or he gets indicted and on 38 counts, I think, in this federal indictment. No matter what happens to him, Trump tells them it's the deep state. It's the Democrats have taken over the FBI. You know, they're just out to get me, and I've done nothing wrong. But it's not that they're out to get me; they're out to get us, all of us. He does the inclusion thing, and they go for it, and it's mind-boggling to me. That's for sure, but I understand that that's the reality of it. Oh, hello to DJ Steve in the Facebook live chat. Hello, sir. I'll see you this evening for Retro Spectrum Radio. I am worried about, though, and please don't take this wrong. I'm not saying that this should not go forward. It should go forward. And listen, Trump, regardless of what I or you or anyone else thinks about him, he is to be afforded by law the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and gloat about it, even though I don't like the guy, or anything like that. So if anyone's expecting that, you're not getting that. Last time we talked about Trump being indicted for someone, I got an email from a listener who had said he had to turn off the show because I was gloating. I don't know what show he was listening to. I was pretty somber about it, actually. Maybe it was because of one of the song parodies I played. I don't know. But no, listen, this is tough. This is tough for the country. And I'm worried about that core base that I was talking about, that 30 to 35%. I'm worried about some of them being sort of activated. I'm worried about the potential for violence. There was one congressman, I think it was Chip Roy, who sounds like he's already calling for violence. Jenny had sent me, I didn't get a chance to watch it, and I don't think I even want to play it on the air because I think it would be too horrifying. But Mark Levin, who works for Fox, I guess he said, you know, he got very angry, which is kind of his brand. And he said on the air, you know, this is war. We're at war now. I worry about that kind of thing because I'm worried that there's going to be violence. You know, some of these militia types who, you know, Trump is their hero, their leader. They're I'm concerned about this moment now, this being sort of an activation point for them and for what we'll see. So I'm worried about that. And, but I'm bothered by people who say, well, it's not appropriate to do this because he's a former president or because he's a candidate for office. See, because obviously you've got, like I said, you've got that 30 to 35% of the Republican Party who is ride or die for Trump. They love him. He can do no wrong. He is effectively, you know, he's their, I don't want to say, well, they revere him. He's their hero. I'll put it that way. And of course, but you've also got some people who aren't necessarily in that category. It's not that they're pro-Trump, but they're uneasy. They're so uneasy with the idea of indicting and charging and prosecuting someone who is a former president or is a candidate for office that they'll say, well, because this person's a candidate and because there's an election going on. I mean, you know, we haven't even gotten to the first primary for 2024, but because there's this campaign in motion, that this is inappropriate. And you should not be doing this while someone is actively running for office. There's a lot of people who seem to feel that way. And that makes me nuts every time I hear it. Because every time I hear somebody say that, I'm thinking, do they hear themselves? Because as far as I'm concerned, what they're saying is, if you're a politician, you're above the law. The very thing that so many of us complain about every day. right? Every day people talk about, people complain. We live in a country where people complain, rightly so, about politics is dirty, and a lot of politicians are very dirty, and they do think they're above the law. And absolute power corrupts, absolutely. I almost hate to say that because it's such a cliche, but the reason that cliche endures is because it's so true. Right? People complain about how the elite are not held accountable. People who are wealthy are not held accountable. You know, these are complaints, right? About politicians, about the elite, about the wealthy getting away with things and never being held accountable for anything. These are complaints that are largely universal in the sense that whether you're a liberal or a conservative or a libertarian or whatever, whatever, or apolitical, whatever you are, whoever you are, you probably at some point or another have thought or said something along those lines. That is a broad principle, concept that most of us can agree on, that there is a lack of accountability. The more money you have, or the more power you have, or both, the more notoriety you have, the more likely you are to escape accountability for your actions. Right? That's a broadly accepted principle in American life, and a source of frustration for most people who think about these things and care about these things. But then, when I hear these people say, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe if he wasn't a candidate, if he hadn't announced his candidacy and he was intent on remaining a private citizen, then it would be appropriate to prosecute him. But because he's an active candidate, then you can't do this. It's you're going to interfere with the election somehow. That makes me nuts, because every time somebody says that, what they're saying is, okay, so if someone chooses to be a politician, they're above the law. We'll give them a pass. And I don't understand that thinking at all. I mean, look, I do understand it in the sense that some people who say that, they're only saying it because it's Trump. I get that. I understand the psychology of it, right? Whereas if it were someone that they didn't like in the exact same scenario, they would not be saying that. They would not be saying that. But it's Trump. And, you've got that... You've got that core base of the party that just, if Trump told them the sky was green, they'd walk outside, they'd look up and go, oh, how did I never notice that before? It is green. Of course, then you've got the other, if you've got 35% of the party that feels that way, you've got the other, I'm not good at math, 65% of the party that really has just kind of had enough. Right? And polling data shows, I've seen polls that show that, 6 in 10 Republicans really would like to just move on. And this is not going to cause those people to, that 6 in 10, that 65% of the Republican Party that has had enough, they're not going to budge any more so than the 35% that believes that, you're all in this together. That 65% isn't going to budge either. They're not going to wake up one day and say, oh, he's indicted. Oh, maybe the other 35%, maybe they're right. Maybe the FBI, maybe law enforcement really is controlled by Democrats, even though everyone knows law enforcement personnel tends to skew conservative. But maybe everything Trump says is true. And maybe we should go join the other 35%. No. That's not going to happen. But that's the one thing though that drives me nuts is every time I hear somebody say, well, I don't think it's appropriate to prosecute Trump right now because he's a candidate. So all you have to do then is run for office and you have impunity. You get to just do whatever you want. So politicians are above the law is what you're saying if you're saying that. I mean, I just, it astonishes me. But the other thing about this though is, this is not all bad for Trump. And that's the wild thing. That's one of the things that's so mind-blowing about this whole thing is using that 30 to 35% of the base that will follow Trump, like the Pied Piper anywhere. Trump relies on them to send him money. Every time anything like this happens, Trump is the only example I can think of. I cannot think of another example in history of a politician who every single bad thing that happens to him, all he has to do is tell his donors, look what happened now. They're after us. They're not just after me. They're after us. Send me money. And they send money. That's why Trump always gets out ahead of these. Where do we learn about these things? Every time something happens, like a new indictment for Trump, where do we hear about it first? Usually with a post on Truth Social. Trump tells us. Why does Trump tell us before it gets to even to the media? Why is Trump the first to reveal it? Because got to keep the money coming. Trump knows. See, Trump probably isn't sweating this because he thinks, well, more money, more money for the campaign, right? This is a fantastic, the worse it gets for him legally, the more money that will flow in. And the more it ensures that he will be the nominee. I mean, I'm more certain than ever now Trump will be the nominee. But it's such a weird dynamic. I cannot think of another example that even comes close to it in American history. The only thing, and it really doesn't even come close. It's a very different situation. But the only thing I can think of even remotely similar in some sense is when Bill Clinton was president and he was impeached. He was not removed, but he was impeached. Everyone remembers, or well, you youngins don't, but if you're old enough to remember, Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, who, by the way, people get it wrong. Bill Clinton was not impeached because he had the affair with Monica. He was impeached for lying to a grand jury about it, which is, you cannot commit perjury. Again, nobody is above the law. So he was impeached over that. But among Democrats, his approval rating actually went up, not down. And he left office with a higher approval rating because it was toward the end of his presidency. He ended up with a higher approval rating because he was able to garner sympathy from his supporters. Because he said, look what they're doing to me. Look what they're doing to us. But also, he was able to tie that into, maybe it's really not that different, but the potential consequences are very different, and the ramifications and the crux of the issue. But he was also able to tie that into what Hillary Clinton had said. Many of you will remember Hillary Clinton's famous line very early in Bill Clinton's presidency, where she referred to a vast right-wing conspiracy. She was claiming, with the investigations of the Clintons like Whitewater and others that were early in the Clinton presidency, she said there is a vast right-wing conspiracy out to get us. So when Clinton's being impeached for lying to a grand jury, he said, look, this is part of the vast right-wing conspiracy. Now, I don't remember him actually saying those words and referring back to what Hillary had said at the beginning of his presidency verbatim. I don't think he did, but it was obviously implied. This is part of the vast right-wing conspiracy. And his support actually went up, not down, among Democrats and probably among independents, certainly not among Republicans. But so that's the only thing that I can think of that's even in the same realm. But no, I mean, so now I'm more certain now than ever Trump will be the nominee, but it's a paradox because the more legal problems Trump has, the greater the chance of him being the nominee and the less chance of him actually winning a second term, going back to the White House, because, it makes him all this stuff because of the way Trump plays it. And he's very smart about marketing and branding to his base. It makes him a phenomenal nominee, right? But, his supporters, his hardcore supporters, are more enthusiastic than ever, that 30 to 35%, because they believe he's being picked on. But it makes him a horrendous general election candidate. we're talking about somebody who may very well be accepting the Republican nomination while wearing, there's a specific term for it, an ankle, so they can keep track of you, a bracelet, but it's there's another term for it that law enforcement uses. I mean, it's possible. And the thing is too, even though you have, like, let's say you have a Republican Party that is split where, let's say you've got 3 in 10. Let's say it's closer to 30%. Well, no, it'd be in between, but let's make it really simple. Let's say you've got 3 in 10 Republicans who are totally committed, continue to be completely in love with Trump no matter what. And then you've got 7 in 10 that would like to move on. Polling data shows 6 to 10. Let's make it 7. So you've got 3 that are still committed, 7 that are saying, nope, we got to move on. We've got a whole slate of other options. And what are there? Something like 9 or 10 or 11 candidates other than Trump now in the race? I mean, and that's, I'm just talking about the people that we hear about on a regular basis. The problem is, if you're in that 7 out of 10 and you desperately want somebody else, the reason you're not going to get somebody else is because that 3 in 10, even though there's more of you if you're a Republican, there's more of you that want to move on than want to stick with this guy, right? But the problem is, those of you who want to move on, you've got too many choices. Some of you are going to say DeSantis. Some of you are going to say Haley. Some of you are going to say Christie. Some of you are going to say Hutchinson. You got a whole bunch of, some of you are going to say Steve Laffey. I mentioned him because we've had him on the show. But the thing is, and there's others, but the thing is, it's going to be a repeat of 2016. What happened in 2016? Now, take Iowa out of it, because in 2016, Trump actually lost Iowa. But Iowa is not a reliable predictor of how anything's going to go anyway. All due respect to anyone from Iowa, like our friend Eric Pilcher, who might be listening. Take Iowa out. But in New Hampshire, what happened in 2016? Trump, and the polls were correct. Trump won big in New Hampshire. And I remember leading up to the New Hampshire primary, seeing polls that showed like Trump, like the one candidate who was actually in double digits, and everybody else on the ballot was, like 1%, 2%. Trump's at like 28% or 32% or whatever. And even up to the day of the primary, people, some of my Republican friends who really liked Trump even were very skeptical that it was going to be Trump. And I kept saying, look, you can be skeptical of polls all you want to, but look at this. Come on. There's no way that's wrong. And it turned out it wasn't wrong. And Trump won handily in New Hampshire. But, where did the rest of that vote go? Did it go to a strong second place finisher? No, I don't even remember. I don't even remember who came in second. Do you? I don't. If anybody in the chat room knows, feel free to type it in. I can't even remember who came in second or third. Kind of didn't matter, because whoever it was, they had a very small number. We're looking at the same thing here. So if you've got 3 in 10 who want to stick with Trump, 7 out of 10 who want to move on, that 7 out of 10 has a whole bunch of options, and they're not all going to pick the same one. So I still believe Trump will be the nominee. And I think in terms of getting to the nomination, all of this legal trouble, to any other person, what's happening now with these, I think, 38 counts, this would be devastating. This would mean you better resign yourself to wearing an orange jumpsuit in the future. But for Trump, it just makes him stronger as he pursues the nomination. And this is where the big gamble is for him, if he gets the nomination, which he will, if he manages to win the presidency, all this goes away. If he can run out the clock. So, I don't know how, he's got, it's not just what Jack Smith announced today. He's got a lot legally on his plate. But if he can run out the clock, he can, if he does become president again, he can then say, okay, this all goes away. I'm in charge again. Justice Department, just forget it. Done. But what if he's already convicted? What would be very interesting to see is if he's already convicted, will he then try to pardon himself if he is elected president? And that is a matter that is open to debate. This would not be the first time people have wondered about that. In the case of Trump, can a president actually pardon himself? It's never been tried. It's never been tested. In theory, it's possible, but it's never been tested, so we don't know. But it's a big gamble for him. It's a big gamble. Something else I wanted to say about this too is because obviously, you have the people who will say, Trump followers will say, well, what about Biden and his secret documents? And what about Mike Pence and his secret documents? Well, my position has been all along. I'm pretty angry with anyone who mishandles secret documents. As a taxpayer, as an American, I care about that. And there's no excuse for it. But what is markedly different, and by the way, I will just remind people, there is another, so Jack Smith is the special counsel on the Trump case. There is another special prosecutor with an ongoing investigation into Biden on this. I'll just remind you of that. In the case of Mike Pence, that was closed, I think it was earlier this week, right? Was it this week or last? No, it was this week, I think, right? It was toward the beginning of the week. That was closed. They got everything back. He cooperated. Done. Not charging him with anything. With Biden, there is an ongoing investigation. But again, as far as we know, full cooperation. The big difference with Trump is it's not even so much about what he took. Although, and we might have to hold off until later in the show after Shane's call, we'll circle back to this because we'll have a little bit more time afterward. But what he did take, it sounds kind of scary, okay? But putting that aside, put that aside for a minute. It's about the obstruction, and that's a big difference. That is an important distinction. Biden and Pence both, when it became apparent there was an issue, cooperated, done, here you go. Sorry about that. Again, no excuse. I don't want anyone to misunderstand and think I'm just giving them a pass. I'm not. There's no excuse for mishandling classified information. And in both of their cases, I have questions. I guess I'll forget about asking any questions about Pence because that matter's already been closed. So whatever questions I had, I'll just forget it. And by the way, Pence, to his credit, has taken full responsibility. He has said he didn't try to get cute with it and make excuses and obfuscate. No, Pence said, look, this was a mistake. It was an honest mistake, but it's unacceptable. And I take full responsibility for it. It should not have happened. And I take responsibility. So good on him. I respect that. There's not a lot of things I respect about him. Again, we've talked about that on this show, but some things I do, and that's one of them. He took full responsibility. But with Trump, it's not so much about what he took, although that is a problem. Apparently, again, presumption of innocence. I get it. I'm keeping that in mind. I'm doing my best. But the obstruction part, playing hide the ball with everything, when somebody comes knocking on your door and says, hey, you have something that doesn't belong to you and we'd like it back, and you don't give it back, and instead you enter this protracted negotiation about, imagine if, imagine you're a homeowner and one day you realize that there's some tools missing out of your garage, and you see your neighbor using one of your tools, and you say, hey, you took my tools, and they say, oh, sorry, I was just borrowing them, and you weren't around. I didn't think you'd mind, You know, and then you maybe you even think back, oh yeah, I did tell him once if he needed anything, he could have it. That's true. And then your neighbor says, oh, I'll get him right back to you. You know, and then a couple weeks go by and you don't get him back. A couple more weeks go by, you don't get him back. So then you go and you knock on his door and you say, hey, I really need my tools. And your neighbor's like, well, let's negotiate on this. I'm not just going to give you back your tools. But here, maybe I can give back some of them, or maybe we can work something out. Or you'd be kind of like, what are you doing? You don't get to negotiate with my tools. They're my tools. Those aren't yours. And then maybe your neighbor's wife comes out and says, well, I'm pretty sure he already gave back all of your tools. And you're like, what? No, he didn't. He still has my tools. I want my tools. And your wife says, well, I'm a lawyer. I'm going to draw up a sworn affidavit claiming that I saw him give you your tools back. Anyway, the point being, obstruction is a problem. And I'm not an attorney. I'm not a legal expert of any kind, but obstruction is illegal. When you're moving evidence around, when you're trying to hide evidence, that's, again, that's why there's an old saying, and I don't know if this existed before Watergate or not, but there's an expression. It's not the crime. It's the cover up. It's the cover up. So trying to obstruct justice is what'll really get you. And it sounds like that's part of what he's charged with. And this other guy whose name escapes me, who may have helped him do it, conspiracy to obstruct justice. We'll look at it again later in the show. We'll circle back to it and we'll look at that part in a little more detail. But one other thing though, before we leave the subject for now, because we're going to get to a break and then we're going to play another one of Shane Ballin's new songs, and then we'll talk to him. He's going to call in. Looking forward to that. But one other thing about this, when Trump has responded publicly to all of this, what have we heard him say over and over? And by the way, I'm sure his lawyers wish that he would just shut up, but he can't help himself. Trump exists in a consistent state of self-immolation anyway. I've never in my life seen an example of someone who creates their own problems like him. I think even some of his supporters would possibly agree with that. But Trump has said many times, he said, look, those were mine to take if I wanted to. I could do anything I want. I was the president. I could even declassify them telepathically, just thinking about it with my mind. Blah, they're declassified. There you go. So he talks about that a lot. He talks about how he had the right to declassify them. What has he not addressed? What is one thing that he has never addressed that I didn't even hear Caitlin Collins ask him during that town hall, and I don't know why, or maybe she did. But what if I never heard him explain? What if none of us ever heard him explain why he took them? He's never explained why. He will explain kicking and screaming. They're mine to take. I had every right to take them. Dude, why though? Why? And I, as a taxpayer, but more importantly, as an American citizen, I would like to know, and I deserve to know, why? And I can only think of two reasons. Reason number one, he took them to impress people so he could say, I have secret documents. Ooh, look at this. Or don't look at this. I can't actually show it to you. But I have classified information from when I was president. Ooh. The other option is, I almost don't even want to say it out loud. And I hope with every cell of my being this is not true. But the other option is probably fetch a lot of money from an unfriendly government for some of that information. I'm not saying, before anybody freaks out at me, I'm not saying I think that's what it was. In fact, if I were a betting man, I would probably go with the first option. I will give him that much benefit of the doubt for now. But not once have I heard him explain why. And I know why he doesn't explain why, because in his mind, he doesn't owe us an explanation. Because he was president and he could do whatever he wanted. So he doesn't owe us an explanation. And, if you happen to be MAGA, you agree with that. Yeah, of course he doesn't owe us an explanation. He's Donald Trump. Well, I'm an American taxpayer. I want an explanation. And I am owed an explanation. And so are all of you, whether you want to hear the explanation or not. And for those of you who don't think you need an explanation or don't care or don't want an explanation, pull your heads out of wherever they're stuck, because you deserve an explanation. We all deserve. Every American in this country, whether they want to hear it or not, deserves an explanation on that one question. And we better get it. Why? We all deserve to know why. All right. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to show love to our amazing sponsors. And then when we come back, we're going to play another one of Shane Ballin's great songs, and he'll be calling in. So as soon as the song's over, hopefully he'll be on the phone with us, and we'll get to talking with him. Definitely want to learn all about the new album and the new producer he's working with, all of it. So Shane is a very, very talented gentleman, so I'm really looking forward to that. But so we're going to do all of that. There is plenty more to come. We're only halfway through the show, so stick around. We got lots more for you. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
I can still smell tobacco when I climbed inside my daddy's truck. 3 on the tree on daddy's knee. He taught me how to drive her down an old dirt road. Lucky Strikes and Old Spice are 2 smells that made my heart now that I'm old. The memories in that old Dodge truck are worth more than the money that you're ever gonna pay me. If I wasn't so down on my luck right now, I'd keep that truck and I'd hang on to my daddy. Unruly child are running wild. He didn't know how to tame me. Daddy's girl, I was his world, and all his love that he gave me. I didn't care, I just wanted to grow up and be free. Memories in his old Dodge truck are worth more than the money that you're ever gonna pay me. If I wasn't so down on my luck right now, I'd keep that truck and I'd hang on to my daddy. As I take that gun rack down and my heart breaks with every painful turn of the screw. That rear view window now has a very clear and painful view. Please fix her up, don't junk her, don't turn my daddy into metal cube. The memories in his old Dodge truck are worth more than the money that you ever gonna pay me. If I wasn't so down on my luck right now, I'd totally keep it real. I'd have my daddy.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is Daddy's Truck here on Matt Connerton Unleashed by the great Shane Ballin, and I believe he is on the phone. Shane, are you there? Uh-oh. Shane, did we lose you? Oh, we lost him. Shane, call us back. If you're listening, let's see. I'm messaging him. Try calling again. I don't know what happened. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is him. Shane, is that you?
That's me.
Oh, hey, there we go. How you doing, man?
Sorry about that. How are you?
No,
How are you? So excited to be on Unleashed.
Yeah. Good to have you back. Of course, I was saying earlier in the show how last time you were here, you were in studio with us playing your guitar and just sounding great. And it's great to hear. These are all, so everything that you sent us, these are from the brand new album, String Pain Projection?
That's right, Matt. Yeah, I'm so excited. I was working with my new producer, a good friend of mine, and Mr. Goodbar, Timothy Thorpe, over at the Toy Box Studios in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Yes.
He's, the best. And right now, we worked on this for a couple of weeks. We just finished it last night. I sent that over to you right away before I could even get it. You're the first to have it. I haven't got anything on Spotify or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
But I'll play there on the 21st. I'm excited to play those songs. And, the String Pain Projection was the title of that because it just meant a lot to me. I thought, because the music itself and a lot of my songs, especially on this album you hear, it's about the pains of life, kind of, everybody, every single person experiences. And it's the way the music can turn sadness and pain into healing is amazing, and I've done that, played in hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Recently I was at a wedding, got to play for, I spoke about the last time, a young lady who was, sick, and played for her, and I got a chance to actually play at her wedding recently at the Old Salt, and it was so much fun to see. Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, and so it's, it just takes it's a pain filter through the strings, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then you project that as healing into people. And, that's a lot. With the new album, I already have another album. I want to, it's all written. I just got to get into the studio again in a little while and do it.
Wow.
Because I just got a lot of songs. I've been busy writing. since I was in there last time. And, I'm really working with some solfeggio frequencies and different healing type music is going to be the focus of that one. But yeah, so I really enjoyed working with Mr. Goodbars. He's probably going to call in on the 21st to talk a little bit. And we had a remix we made. It's absolutely awesome.
Yes.
I love it. And he puts the big 808s in there, and it's, got, emerging country hip-hop feel to it. And I got a little hook on it, and it's just, I think it's great.
Yeah, it's really good. I will, I'll play that later in the show, perhaps at the end of the segment. In fact, yeah, it is very good. Very good, yeah. Now, how did you get to working with him? How did that come about? I met him up at playing music up in Lebanon up at Charlie's Hill. He was in sepsis, and I went to the music awards to follow him and follow them, and I went down there with a friend of mine, and we got a chance to talk, and he just came up and he asked me who was producing any of my stuff, and we got a chance to meet him. He took my number, and the rest of history is great. It was just the perfect person, and to meet at that right time. I was just I'm so thankful for it. So much props to Mr. Goodbars. But it's great. The Daddy's Truck, hearing that played was just so amazing because, as I said, I worked with another one of my friends, an artist, Janine, who passed away, and she always said that was a collaboration with us, and she wanted to get that on the radio. She said, "This is going to be on the radio one day," and to hear it playing on the radio was just. So I still got goosebumps. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, right. I remember you talking about her the last time that you were here with us. And now, and just to clarify, so does Mr. Goodbars, he produces the whole album?
Yeah. Cool. He produced the whole album, and then the song Charlie, he took in my guitar and my music in there. He took out and put in his lyrics, and I got did the hook on the end.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
We put that, and we have that nice crackling fire which we came up with just last night, and we put into the string pain projection because that's where we wrote the song in front of that fire, and it's one of those moments when that's perfect.
Yeah, no, it's a cool effect. It almost sounds like it could be crackling fire or even the sound of a vinyl record, or rain. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Vinyl, exactly. I thought it was sounding like vinyl too.
Yeah.
I want to say hi to my dad in Florida. One of my kids, and my dad, he's down in Florida. Hey, Dad, love you.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
So I'm gonna have I'll be playing around. I'm trying to get some different gigs. I'll be playing out, and I like to go out in Hampton and do some street performing too. So you play some. I got my CDs now, so I'll have some new songs out there, and just trying to. Get now focused to get back in the studio again.
Yeah. Now, so is the new album? Is it a full album or is it an EP?
Well, it's five tracks.
Okay, so it's an EP. Yeah.
And there's so much I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to put about like 3 or 4 more songs, but then again, I wanted to just work on the ones we had a little bit more. So
yeah.
And the show's coming up, so I promised you I'd have it ready.
Right. So the album itself isn't out yet, correct?
Right. All right. I just finished it last night about 11:30. So I'm in the process right now, getting it all to register with the songs and Billboard and get this different CDs and get everything out onto. All of the music outlets.
Yeah.
So maybe by tomorrow I should have that.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's more than people realize. There's more than people realize that goes into it.
Yep, that's again, I really appreciate playing my music, and it's a great dream come true. Thanks so much.
Oh, absolutely. Shane, anything you want us to know about shows that you have coming up? You mentioned Hampton. Anything else? And also too, I want to make sure our listeners know where to find you online too.
Sure. Yeah, you can always find me. I like to post all my music. I do live streams and post a bunch of music all the time on my Facebook page, Shane Ballen, and so you can find me there. Also. And that's ShaneBalon, and Yeah, I'm going to be probably playing, I think, at the Governor's Lodge July with good friend Brian Munger. There's some upcoming shows over at Charlie's Hill. Much love to Charlie's Hill. Love you guys up in Lebanon. And everything else, I'm just trying to work. I've been really focusing on trying to get the actual music in the studio over the last couple months.
Yeah. Well, it sounds great. Love what you're doing, and we'll let you go in a moment. We'll play that remix of Charlie, which was just so good.
Yeah. All right. That sounds wonderful.
And then, but we'll see. So we'll see you in studio on the 21st, and you're going to bring your guitar, I hope.
Oh yeah, I'm going to bring my guitar, and I got a new guitar too. We're going to bring both guitars.
Excellent. All right. No, we look forward to that. I got a ton of positive response on your previous appearance with us in studio. So really looking forward to that, Shane.
That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep working hard, and I'll be ready for the 21st.
All right. Sounds great. All right, Shane, we'll let you go, and then I'm going to hit this track, but thank you so much, my friend. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
That sounds good. Thank you, Matt.
All right, man. You got it. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye. Oh, wonderful. All right. So that was the great Shane Ballin. And yes, he'll be here with us in studio on the 21st. But in the meantime, let's listen to this. So this is the track that he was talking about. This is Charlie. Geez, you know what I might do? Maybe should I play them both? You know what I'm going to do? What the hell? I'm going to play both. So there's two versions of the song. There's the song Charlie, the original, and then there's the remix that Mr. Goodbars is on. I'm going to play them both. I'll play the original first, and then I'll play, because they're not very long. They're short songs anyway. Why not play them both? This will be interesting. So I'll play Charlie, and then I'll play the Charlie remix with Mr. Goodbars, and that'll be interesting. And then we'll come back with the rest of our show. So here it is. This is Charlie from the great Shane Ballin here, a world radio premiere on Matt Connerton Unleashed. Check it out.
Saturday night jams and loving hands, pink guitars and borrowed cars. The distance between us is closer than you think. The next time you're in the field and the stars, they give away. Just remember I'm waiting here in sleep, just like the campers in the field on retreat. I'm the flickering light and I am the reason you fight. I'm the curl in your grin and I'm the chills on your neck. I'm the whistle in the wind, and I'm the silence when you rest. Living, love, and laughter survive, and a hot stove keeps that music alive. It's the resonation that still resides. In all this you'll find it's the flickering light and the reason you fight. Curled in your grin, chills on your neck, the whistle in the wind and the silence. When you rest, when living, love, and laughter survive, then a hot stove keeps that music alive. It's It's the resignation that still resides. All this you'll find. It's me, yeah, Mom, it's me. It's me, yeah, Mommy, it's me. Oh, yeah, it's me, and I am Charlie. It's me, Charlie. It's me.
Yeah, I miss you, hope you know I can never let you go. As we travel through this life, I know I had to play my role. So what, I miss you. See you in my dreams when I catch some sleep. You're the young and on my heart, and the air that makes me breathe. Pictures on the wall of a life we seen in past times. Remember all the smiles and the feeling, what your laugh like. The chills on my arm as the skies turn blue. I have to say this truth, your love could change my mood. To me you did no wrong, and you sung my favorite song. You showed me how to open up, embrace with open arms. I cried the most, I loved you hard. I smiled the most, cause you're my heart. I miss you, hope you know I can never let you go. As we travel through this life, I know I had to play my role. So what, I miss you. See you in my dreams when I catch some sleep. You're the young and on my heart, and the air that makes me breathe.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria. For delivery, call 603-782-8450. Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town. 1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. Best cocktails around. Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Welcome back, everybody, as we cruise into our final segment today, our final segment of the week on the program, actually. Matt Connerton Unleashed. We are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. It is Friday, June 9, 2023. By the way, thank you again so much to our friend Shane Ballin for joining us today, for calling in. And we've been featuring some of his music today, the world radio premiere of tracks from his new album, String Pain Projection. And he's going to be here in studio with us on the 21st. He'll bring his guitar or guitars. It sounds like he's got a new one. And looking forward to that. And he might have Mr. Goodbars with him. We'll see. So that'll be fun. Guy's got a great voice. Great voice. I love hearing him sing. So thank you again, Shane. And it is Friday, which means tonight, of course, if you are listening live on Friday, immediately following this program, we have Granite State of Mind, hosted by the great Rob Azevedo and Paulie Stone. And then tonight, I am back from 8 to 11 p.m. for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. I have the honor and privilege of being one of Paul's co-hosts on that show, along with our friends CJ Steve and Mike from Queen City Cabinetry. So that will be tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. And this week, the theme is 25 songs. Paul's got 25 songs lined up, and it's this game where we have to try to figure out, what do these songs all have in common? There is a theme of some sort. There's a commonality, if you will, a through line, a common thread with all of these songs. And last one we did, I was able to figure it out pretty quick, but we'll see how I do tonight. So that will be tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. I do love my Fridays here at WMNH. We should mention, too, our amazing sponsor, The Hop Knot, tomorrow night at The Hop Knot. They have Chad Verbeck. They have live music there every Saturday night from 8 to 11. I'm sorry, from 7 to 9 p.m., 8 to 11. I'm thinking about Retro Spectrum Radio. Saturday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. they have live music. So Chad Verbeck is going to be there this Saturday, tomorrow night. A couple other things they've got coming up, too. They've got on June 17th at 10 p.m. they have the Gender Blender Drag Show after Pride Party. So that will be on the 17th. And on the 23rd, they have Big Gay Bingo. I don't know exactly what Big Gay Bingo is. Obviously, it's bingo, but it's like bingo, like regular bingo, but it's big and gay, I guess. Kenny kind of explained it to me, but I didn't get it. But that's okay. But that will be on Friday, the 23rd at 10 p.m. And then the Juneteenth party, Sunday, June 25th. Does that say 25th? Need to enlarge that. I think it says 25th. It's I took a picture of the board that he has up at the Hop Knot with everything's written in chalk from 1 to 8 p.m. So very good. So lots of good things coming up of course, June is a busy month. It's Pride Month and Juneteenth also in June. So, all right. Sorry, I was just distracted by something on my phone. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting to mention anything. Let's see. We will, let me give the numbers and we will get back into the subject at hand. 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. You can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. By the way, I see our friend Rocky Huber joins us in the Facebook live chat. I know with Rocky's work schedule, he doesn't get to join us live as often as he used to, but he's in there. He says, hope everyone is doing well. Hello, Rocky. I did see another new name in the Facebook live chat too. Matthew, is that Kasikas or Kasakis or Katsakis? Sorry if I'm butchering your last name, as I'm quite sure that I am. But Matthew says definitely more options and will likely never know the truth. Fact, and that was referring to what I was talking about earlier in the first hour about, I've never heard Trump explain why. He's never offered us an explanation of why he has those documents. He's talked about how he has a right to take them and this and that, but he's never explained why. Let's see. Let's look at. So this is from thehill.com. 5 major revelations from Trump's federal indictment. So this is, let's look at this. And this will get people caught up too, who aren't clear on what's happened. And Jack Smith, special prosecutor, Special counsel Jack Smith did come out today and made a short statement that I played at the top of the show today. But so again, this is from The Hill. The Justice Department today unveiled a 37 count. Oh, I misspoke earlier. I said 38. It's only 37. Only. Unveiled a 37 count indictment against former President Trump over his handling of classified materials after leaving the White House, offering up an expansive look at the evidence prosecutors collected. Oh, actually, we have a call. We did have a call. Looked like Jenny was calling in. Jenny, call back. I tried picking up, but it says the 49-page document provides significant insight into the nature of the classified documents Trump had kept since leaving the White House in January 2021. Allegations about Trump's moves to obstruct attempts to retrieve the documents and details about instances where Trump is said to have openly shared sensitive government secrets. All right, Jenny is back. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
I have my theory as to why Trump did it. And
Okay.
I have a one-word answer.
Yes.
Ego. It's ego. He likes to show off. He likes to have trophies. He likes to, look what I can do. It's his ego that has led him down this road. I don't think there was something nefarious about it. I mean, at least I hope not.
Right.
But I really feel like he ended up on this road just because his ego.
Could be.
Got to show off.
Yeah, could be. I hope that's all it is.
I do too, because the alternative is really friggin' scary.
Yes.
Especially when you look at what he had, nuclear secrets. And
Right.
Jeez.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's what I have. I think it's his ego that led him down this road and it's going to land him to a prison cell.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it, but we'll see what happens.
Alrighty.
All right, Jenny.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah, we were talking earlier in the first hour about different theories about why he might have done this, but again, he never offered an explanation. But it may be that simple. It may in fact be that simple, and that would comport with Trump's personality. Let's see. So here are the 5 biggest revelations from the indictment. We'll go through these. Oh, hello to Easy Beat Flash in the Facebook live chat. This is somebody new. Easy Beat Flash says, although not from a new place, hello there, #Matt. We say to you from us. We are a pop singing group man band of Easy Beat Flash. We are from Greensboro, North Carolina. We are friends with Isaac Banks from Greensboro, North Carolina. I suspected as much. And Easy Beat Flash says, and this is the important thing, we love your afternoon show, hashtag Matt Connerton, we said. Well, I love compliments, Easy Beat Flash. Thank you. All right, so it says here, again, this is the first revelation. Trump had documents with nuclear and military secrets. It says the indictment offers the most specific assessment of the kinds of documents Trump had in his possession. And prosecutors allege that among them were sensitive materials related to the United States nuclear program. The filing states, so this is from the actual indictment, quote, the classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. The unauthorized disclosure of these classified documents could put at risk the national security of the United States, foreign relations, the safety of the United States military and human sources, and the continued viability of sensitive intelligence collection methods. Unquote. That's from the filing. The filing also cites a December 2021 incident where Trump aide Walt Nauta, who, by the way, has also been indicted today, who is also charged in the indictment, finds documents spilled on the floor of a Mar-a-Lago storage room. The documents were labeled secret and only releasable to members of the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance of the U.S., Australia, the UK, Canada, and New Zealand. Well, apparently, also they could be seen by anyone who happened to stumble into that storage unit, apparently. Let's see. Revelation number 2, Trump pushed lawyers to help cover up. And by the way, this is something we've heard about, like the attorney who, signed that affidavit saying, oh, yeah, yep, you've got it. You've got all the documents. We're good. You got everything. Now go away. We gave you everything. It turned out not to be true. Oops. Anyway, it says here, the indictment details multiple incidents in which Trump pressured his lawyers to withhold documents from the government, including asking them to tell authorities he did not have them. Yeah, just tell them you haven't seen them. In another instance, he suggested his attorney, quote, hide or destroy, unquote, the documents that were being sought by a May 11 subpoena seeking the return of all classified records. The filing also relies on notes obtained from Trump attorney Evan Corcoran, who had attorney-client privileges pierced in connection with the probe after a judge determined that he may have been misled by Trump. Yeah, there's ways, and about that, for anyone who's not clear on this, you have attorney-client privilege, of course, where anything, if you're an attorney, anything you and your client discuss is privileged between the two of you, unless there's something called the crime fraud exception, which means that you and your attorney, you cannot conspire together to commit a crime or obstruction of justice, for example. That's why if you say you've done something and your attorney who represents you, well, you would never want to say to your attorney, just not that I know from personal experience. I always say I'm so clean, I'm boring. I've never, I don't even spit on the sidewalk, as I like to say. But if you are accused of something and you have an attorney and you actually did do the thing that you're accused of, you don't want to tell your attorney, by the way, I actually did do this, but we're gonna try to make a jury think that I didn't, right? You would never want to say anything like that, because now your attorney knows that you're guilty, and now now you've got a problem, because now that might now you and your attorney are effectively colluding in a way to get one over on the court. It's I know again, I'm not a legal expert of any kind, so I'm probably not explaining it exactly right, but that's my understanding of it. You and your attorney cannot conspire to obstruct justice or commit any kind of fraud, because if you do, that is no longer privileged. The court then regards the attorney-client privilege as having been pierced, and it is null in that case. Okay, so that's what happened here with Evan Corcoran. Corcoran notes that Trump made a plucking motion when Corcoran was preparing to turn over 38 documents in response to the subpoena. Corcoran wrote, quote, he made a funny motion as though, well, okay, why don't you make them with you? Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't you take them with you to your hotel room? And if there's anything really bad in there, like, pluck it out. And that was the motion he made. He didn't say that, unquote. The incident details how Nauta moved 64 boxes of documents between a conversation about complying with the subpoena and the attorney's June trip to sort out the records. Third takeaway from the indictment, or revelation. Trump showed sensitive documents to others at least twice. The filing details 2 specific instances where Trump is alleged to have shared highly sensitive materials with individuals at his Bedminster, New Jersey club who did not have security clearances. The first came in July 2021, when Trump is said to have shown and described a plan of attack prepared for him by Pentagon officials while in the White House. The meeting, which was with a writer, publisher, and 2 staff members, was recorded. None of the other individuals present had security clearances. The indictment contains a transcript of the conversation between Trump and a staffer in which he describes the document as secret information. Trump tells the staffer, quote, see, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is still a secret, unquote. The staffer responds with a laugh. Yeah, now we have a problem, unquote. You sure do. The filing also details a second incident in August or September of 2021 in which Trump showed a representative of his political action committee who did not possess a security clearance a classified map related to a military operation. Trump is said to have told the associate during the meeting at Bedminster Club that he should not be showing it to the person and that they should not get too close. Fourth takeaway. Documents were stored across Mar-a-Lago. The indictment states that Trump stored the documents in various locations at Mar-a-Lago following the end of his presidency and moved on multiple occasions. Some of the boxes containing documents that Trump had taken were initially stored at the property's gold and white ballroom, where major events often happened between January and March 15 of 2021. At one point, the boxes were stacked on the ballroom stage. Just imagine a band playing up there and somebody, a guitar player is really getting into it and he bumps into a stack of boxes and secrets spill everywhere. Nauta and other Trump staff members then moved the boxes to the business center. A text conversation between 2 Trump employees. Do not. Okay, listen. Hang on a second. If you're doing something bad, don't text about it. Amateurs. A text conversation between 2 Trump employees included in the court documents reveals that one employee said Trump specifically asked them to be moved to the business center because they were his papers. Some boxes were transported from the business center, which some staff wanted to use as an office, to a bathroom and shower in the property's lake room. This just gets better and better, doesn't it? The indictment states that Trump had a storage room on the ground floor cleaned out in May 2021 so it could store the boxes. The boxes in the lake room were taken there the next month. Prosecutors noted that the hallway leading to storage room could be reached, quote, from multiple outside entrances. The Mar-a-Lago Club was not an authorized location for the storage, possession, review, display, or discussion of classified documents. Nevertheless, Trump stored his boxes containing classified documents in various locations at the Mar-a-Lago Club, including in a ballroom, a bathroom and shower, an office space, his bedroom, and a storage room, unquote, the indictment states. If we just spread them around everywhere, the FBI will never find them all. The filing says that during the August search of Mar-a-Lago, authorities seized 27 classified documents from Trump's office and 75 classified documents from the storage room. Of those 102 documents, 17 were labeled top secret. In the fifth revelation here, Trump was told he was a target of investigation on May 19. Yes. Outside of the indictment itself, new court filings reveal a timeline of the final days of special counsel Jack Smith's investigation. The special counsel's office informed Trump that he was a target in the grand jury's investigation on May 19, roughly 3 weeks before jurors voted to indict him. Nada was similarly informed he was a target on May 24, according to the documents. Just ahead of the indictment, Trump declined to respond directly when asked by the New York Times if he had been identified as a target. The grand jury returned the indictment yesterday. The prosecutors earlier today requested it to be unsealed. Trump and Nada were set to make their first court appearance on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern in the Wilkie D. Ferguson building in Miami. Yeah, apparently, so from what I understand, when you're Trump would have received what's called a target letter, which is where they inform you that you are a target in the investigation. You're not simply being treated as a witness, but you are a target. And once you get a target letter, that typically means an indictment is imminent. So it's kind of a heads up. Get ready because, yes, we are about to indict you. So there you go. By the way, here in Manchester, that once again, the storm seems to have missed us. Now the sun's out. It's beautiful outside, actually. If you'd like to get in with a call, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. The studio line is open. Let's see. So those were the 5 major takeaways, according to thehill.com. Mike Pence, let's see what he had to say. This is from Mediaite. Mike Pence says unsealed Trump criminal indictment deeply troubling and no one is above the law. So as one would expect from the former vice president, what we're about to get here is a very mixed message and it doesn't quite follow logically, but he continues to walk that tightrope that he seemed to be ready to almost stop doing during his announcement of his candidacy. But no, he's back on the tightrope. On the one hand, well, you'll see what I mean. It says here, again, this is from Mediaite.com. Speaking to reporters in New Hampshire today, apparently Mike Pence is in the state. Presidential candidate Mike Pence called the federal criminal indictment against Trump deeply troubling. The former vice president, in his comments today, criticized the Department of Justice for bringing the indictment against Trump, but then went on to argue that, quote, no one is above the law, unquote. See, I mean, he really, it's this weird sort of, like he takes the concept of whataboutism and morphs it into this whole new thing. Here's what he had to say, quote, I think it is deeply troubling to see an indictment against a former president of the United States. Agreed. I had hoped the Department of Justice would see its way clear to solve this without an indictment and said so earlier this week. An indictment against a former president is going to be extraordinarily divisive at a very challenging time for American families, and I also believe it sends a terrible message to the wider world. Now let's stop on that for a moment. If the Department of Justice has a case, they know they have a case. They don't bring an indictment unless they're confident that they have a case. Don't you think it would be awfully divisive also? I mean, this is divisive, of course. But wouldn't it also be divisive for the Department of Justice to just say, we're good. We're not going to pursue this. That would be divisive. That would make a lot of people angry. He says it sends a terrible message to the wider world. Well, what kind of a message would it send to the wider world if the Department of Justice said, well, yeah, this is what happened, but It's a former president. He's currently a candidate, so we're just gonna forget it. What kind of a message would that send? Now, here's the next part of what Trump says. He also says, quote, "That being said, let me be clear on a few points. No one is above the law. In America, we have to stand on the rule of law, irrespective of politics." Agreed. Okay. Secondly, the handling of classified materials is a very serious matter in this nation. My years as vice president, my years serving on the International Relations Committee in the House of Representatives, it's important that we protect our nation's secrets. Agreed. Then he says, quote, "It's one of the reasons why during the multiple..." See, this is a game he's going to play. So he's going to try to turn this around on Biden, which is problematic for a couple of reasons. But this is what he says next. He says, quote, "It's one of the reasons why during the multiple disclosures at President Biden's home of classified materials that he had maintained as vice president and as president, that we thought it was appropriate to have our records examined. And we found that there was a small number of classified materials that had been stored inadvertently with our materials as well," unquote. So he tries to sneak in a knock on Biden. Actually, that's fine, but and he did take responsibility for the documents that he had, which is good. Then he says that his team, quote, "fully cooperated with the FBI's investigation," unquote, and that he takes full responsibility for it. He continued, quote, "I'm pleased that last week the Department of Justice ruled that it was an innocent mistake. But let me be clear, it was an innocent mistake, and the nation's secrets are absolutely vital to securing the country in the days ahead," unquote. So, but the contradiction here is obvious, right? He spends several sentences talking about how, well, this is divisive. This is divisive. So, you can't pursue the Department of Justice shouldn't be pursuing this. It's too divisive. It's going to upset people. And then he goes on to say, but there's no one is above the law. Well, which is it, dude? You can't have both. You can't say, well, people are going to be mad, so they probably shouldn't pursue this. But no one is above the law. No, you, Mike Pence, and every single person who tries to play this game of, well, he is a former president and he is currently a candidate, so probably shouldn't be indicting him for anything. You literally are saying that he is above the law. You are saying politicians are above the law. It's like when I saw him on I think it was on Hannity. This was like maybe a month ago. Mike Pence, he goes on Hannity, right? And he pulls out this line, and I guess that show has a studio audience now because people were applauding when he said this. He's talking about how he thinks that Trump is being treated so unfairly by the criminal justice system. And then he has this applause line, right? And you can tell he knows it's an applause line because he says it a little more forcefully, with about as much force and passion as an empty husk like Mike Pence is able to muster. He says, "Americans are tired of a two-tiered criminal justice system." And then everyone in the studio applauds. I don't know if these people even knew what they were applauding for, because usually when somebody says something like that, yeah, actually he's right. There are a lot of Americans who are tired of a two-tiered criminal justice system. The thing is, when most people talk about having a two-tiered criminal justice system that they're tired of, what they talk about is they're tired of the elite, the powerful, the wealthy, always finding ways, partly because they have the power and the connections and the wealth, to find ways to escape accountability and get away with whatever they want. And then there's the rest of us who are held accountable, right? That's what most people mean when they say a two-tiered criminal justice system. People of means, people of power, people of influence, people with wealth, they're not held to the same standard as the rest of us. Partly because they can buy their way out, and I don't mean with bribes. I just mean, if you're a wealthy person and you get in trouble, you have the money to hire a great lawyer who's going to help you through it, right? If you're a poor person and you get into trouble, can't afford a lawyer, you might get stuck with a public defender. No disrespect to public defenders. They're important and I respect them, but they tend to be overworked, overwhelmed. They can only do so much. And that's what people mean when they talk about a two-tiered criminal justice system. But then here's Mike Pence on Hannity saying, Americans are tired of a two-tiered criminal justice system. And then everybody in the audience goes, yeah, they're applauding. Like, yeah, that's right. It's like, what? Do you people even know what you're applauding for? Because the way Mike Pence is saying it, it sounds like he's saying in that moment, Americans are tired of one standard of justice for President Trump and another standard of justice for everyone else. That sounded like that's what he was saying. And I guess that was what he was saying. And then these people applaud. And it's like, none of you even understand what you're applauding for. It's so weird. It's weird watching him try to balance this. And it's fairly sad and pathetic, frankly. Let's see. We are rapidly running out of time on today's program. And I'm probably going to end with one more Shane Ballen track. We'll probably play the one that I opened with today. Opened the show with today. We'll finish out with that one too. The title track from the album String Pain Projection. I keep wanting to say protection. It's projection. So we'll wrap up with that. But hey, it is Friday, so don't forget, immediately following this show, if you're listening live on Friday, we have Granted State of Mind, hosted by Rob Azevedo and Paulie Stone. I don't know who the guest is on their show this week, but they always have a great show. It's just, in the summer months, they record the show out at Pembroke City Limits. And it's really good stuff. And then, of course, I will be back live tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C., along with DJ Steve and Mike from Queen City Cabinetry. And this week, the theme of the show is we've got 25 songs, and we all have to try to figure out what the theme is among those 25 songs. What do these 25 songs have in common? So that will be tonight from 8 to 11 p.m. on Retro Spectrum Radio. And don't forget, tomorrow night at the Hop Knot, Chad Verbeck will be playing live from, I believe, 7 to 9 p.m. So they've got live music. And hey, if you're in Manchester, get outside and enjoy the weather. It looks like it's really nice now. It looked like it. We even got an alert that there were going to be these terrible storms, but now it looks like it's right back to being a beautiful day. So it's been good weather. All right. If you miss any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and on my website, mattconnerton.com. And I will leave you with one more track from the great Shane Ballen. Thank you again to Shane for joining us earlier. And this is the title track from his upcoming new album. This is String Pain Projection. Almost did it again. To close out today's Matt Connerton Unleashed here from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM. Thank you all, and I will talk at y'all a little bit later. Hopefully I'll see you tonight for Retro Spectrum Radio.
You can't catch me on the radar, I'm running instead.